Hi, my name is Sandra Kokotovic, and I am a digital marketing expert. I co-founded an agency called SnapAdvantage, where we work with wellness and biohacking businesses to help them grow and scale. And we do that without adding more money towards Facebook ads, because we've all been victimized by Facebook ads, rather by building and leveraging our own digital assets like email marketing lists, text marketing lists, social media, TikTok, and Pinterest.
You're watching Success, Motivation, and Inspiration, where we share interviews with incredible leaders who are crushing it in life and business.
Hey, welcome back to Success, Motivation, and Inspiration. Sandra, I am so glad to have you on the show today.
Thank you so much for having me on.
I know you just recently got married, and so I was doing some research. A lot of times when people got married, especially women, you've changed your name and your brand is built around your maiden name. It's very difficult to start off again and kind of build a brand from scratch. But you've got a huge start on this because you're already an SEO expert, search engine optimization expert, and you've been working with brands in the biohacking and wellness industry for a long time. So I was blown away by the amount of great information I found about you just in the quick research we did the day before the show. How did you get into the biohacking industry?
Well, thank you so much. I just wanted to preface this by saying that you have no idea how painful it is for a marketer to have no brand name and no brand SEO. So I decided to change my name before the end of the year in 2024. And now when you research me, there's nothing about me. But painful as a marketer, but it's okay. This is a new project for me. Actually, wellness and biohacking, I've been working with brands and, e-commerce brands and local brands for the last 8 years. And it was kind of like a motley of everything. It was very, I don't want to call it chaotic, but it was a collection of different types of brands and businesses. Biohacking specifically, our agency is a preferred agency for Dave Asprey's Upgrade Labs, which is a biohacking lab where you have cool tech like cryotherapy, red light therapy, PEMF, and AI workouts. And also, naturally, myself and my husband, who's my business partner, being passionate about health and wellness, we started to gravitate towards companies that are within the health and wellness space. So that's pretty much the journey.
That's one of the things that I love about you too, is just the little bit we've talked here. And as I was researching you, I get so many people on the show trying to be featured on the cover of Newswire magazine or on Amazon Fire TV, talking about how they're a marketing expert or they're a branding expert. And you Google them and you cannot find anything. And they've got, saying, yeah, I've been doing this for the last 6 years. Why is there nothing, you get on their social media accounts and they've got 9 posts and nothing really showing that they actually believe in what they do. But with you were married, was that 6 months ago or?
No, it was actually almost 2 years ago. Got married in 2023 in June. And also we traveled quite a little bit. So I could not, my passport is my most prized possession. Both my passports. And I could not afford to live without a passport. So because we always had trips coming up and we also traveled, I could not get my name changed. So when I came back to Canada last year for a longer period of time, I said, okay, I got to do it. So haven't got married that recently, but I'd recently changed my name. So yeah.
I was super excited seeing, going, okay, this chick, Sandra, is actually doing what she says she believes in, what she says she sells. You're crushing it. I mean, even Google and just your maiden and your married name now. You show up, you're actually accomplishing what you tell clients that you're selling them. I was reading online that you had scaled businesses. It sounded like multiple businesses from $0 to $4 million in revenue in 6 months.
Yeah.
Tell me about that process.
Yeah. So that was, it does help when you're a funded business. I'm not going to lie. It's very hard to do it with tabula rasa, $0 in your account. But we, our agency, essentially, Facebook ads, meta ads, you can't really escape them, right? So you got to pay to play. Just to backtrack a little bit to tell you the story, my husband and I, we were e-com entrepreneurs before we even became, so to say, marketers. We had scaled our own brands to 7 figures. And in 2019, we actually got shut down by Facebook. Our ads got shut down. So there goes 80% of our revenue. That was our highest month because it was Q4. So if you know e-commerce, Q4, you know that most of the money gets made in Q4. So that's when I decided I need to find a better way to scale companies that does not only depend on ads. So that's when I started focusing more on building digital assets that you can leverage that are not they're yours, right? So with something like a Meta ad, for instance, you're borrowing space on a phone. You're fighting for the same piece of expensive real estate that is called a feed. But when you're building your own email list, nobody can take it away from you. Sure, MailChimp or Klaviyo can shut you down if they don't like the way you're practicing email marketing, which you should not do any black hat marketing, but it's still your list. It's your asset, right? So spam, don't spam, please. It's 2025. Scaling is more than just putting $1 in and expecting $5 out or $10 out. It's building an ecosystem of digital marketing assets that work together, that support each other, building your text marketing, your email marketing, your Pinterest, your TikTok, your Instagram. Yes, I know those are also platforms, but what I'm trying to say is building a following and leveraging those assets so that they are supporting your paid ads so that your ads become cheaper and you get more out of them, but also can replace the ads if you end up being victimized by Meta, just like I was in 2019. It was painful. It was painful. It was October 31st, Halloween, and we got shut down by Meta. Sad day.
Well, that's rough. I had a similar thing. I was speaking at, I believe it was at Caesar's Palace. I was speaking this time and had given out, I got 3,000 people in the audience, and I told everybody to visit my profile. And I had a competitor he had hired some I found out later, hired some black hat guys. Just hundreds and hundreds of people were reporting my profile and got me shut down. And that was a big thing going, I have got to do more than just have just sending people to my Instagram or my LinkedIn or my Facebook or whatever. But I was able to get it back, but at the perfect time for them to strike, where it was, everybody in the audience sat there, yeah, I can't find you on Instagram.
No.
Are you flipping kidding me?
No. Tragic.
What are some of the biggest marketing myths or advice that you've heard, misinformation or misadvice that you've heard as far as marketing from other so-called experts that are competing with you in the same industry?
Oh, loaded question. Let's clear our calendars for today. I would say the biggest one that I can think of is that if your product is good, it's going to sell itself. It won't. You're laughing because you know it's true. Yeah. If your product is good, then you have a chance at building a successful company. That is kind of like the baseline for having a successful company is a product that solves a problem, which means the product is good. The myth is that if your product is good, you don't need marketing. You don't need to put money into it. You need to put a team together. You don't need to put efforts into it. That is a myth, right? If you're thinking about how digital marketing especially works in today's world, you have platforms like Meta and Google where you have to bid to grab attention. Attention being the most expensive currency of today's marketing world. It's not time, it's attention. When you're in a bidding platform like Google or Meta, for instance, who wins? It's the one that bids the highest, right? With the highest bid. So marketing still needs to be done. Marketing still needs to be, marketing dollars have to be allocated. And your product being good doesn't mean that you're owed sales. It doesn't mean that you're owed anything. People don't, you're not owed someone, a stranger coming to your website and taking out their credit card and spending money with you. So I would say that would be the biggest myth that I can bust is just because your product is good doesn't mean that it doesn't need marketing.
This is kind of off topic here. We host events. Newswire Magazine actually co-hosts events and is the platinum sponsor for different events all over the United States on personal branding and entrepreneurship. You and I say a lot of the same things. I would like to have you come and speak at some of these events. If you're able to come to the United States and speak, I'll talk to my co-host. And what you just said is a huge thing that I kind of an anchor that I teach at each of these events. My example is you could build the coolest shopping mall in history, like the biggest mall you could possibly imagine. There's car dealerships and roller coasters and every restaurant and every clothing outlet. And every possible thing you could ever want from a retail location. Biggest place in history, water park. Just amazing location. And you build this in the middle of the desert. It's the coolest place. You got the best employees, you got the best everything. And you build it in the middle of the desert with no signs, no landing strip, and no roads leading to it. Nobody cares at all that the thing even exists because they don't know it exists.
Exactly.
And so the point behind that, what you just said, then kind of paraphrasing that, is people cannot do business with you if they don't know you exist.
Absolutely.
So I love that you're doing
Absolutely.
that. And so you said you're focusing now mainly on the biohacking and nutraceutical We're with Dave Asprey, who's an absolute rock star in the health niche there.
Yeah, yeah. No, I've been working with a collection of different types of companies. To be honest, when I started my agency, I went against every possible advice that I had, like all these gurus, like selling courses and whatever. I think before we even started this conversation, I told you that I didn't even have a website when we started our business. And the reason why is because my husband, who was my business partner and also the techie guy on the team, he said that I don't need a website because I don't have a business. He wanted to see that I have a business before I get a website. So, when we started working with the agency, we started working with everybody, and I'm always told this like niche down, niche down, niche down, and I was like, no, like my niche, and there's a paradigm that a niche has to be an industry, which is the most common type of niche. But then I realized I don't care what company I work with. My niche is the founder and also the problem that they face. Because to me, I'm showing up every day, right? Like I've been working 6 days a week for years and years now. I don't work a conventional 9 to 5. I work, with the Eastern coast, with the East Coast clients. I work early in the morning, but then I have West Coast clients that are messaging me at like 12 at night, and then I'm responding to them. And I'm happy to do that, but I'm only going to do it if I like the person I'm working with. So what I decided is I'm going to work with everybody as long as I like the founder and I can solve their problem. Now, with the biohacking and wellness situation, we just kind of fell into it in the sense that the whole team has a passion for it. I've heard feedback after feedback from my team saying that their favorite projects are the ones that are health related, whether that was like a naturopath, local naturopath or health product. And then we ended up working with the Upgrade Labs franchises, a few of them that belong to Dave Asprey. He is the CEO. And we just started niching down to wellness and biohacking. And here we are. And the world needs more healthy people.
We talked a little bit before the show about how we both came from I was back like 2006, had a pharmaceutical company and, health and fitness businesses. But I wish so bad that I would have had somebody like you, an expert in marketing back in the day, to help us with the marketing, because we were so hard on, like you were talking about earlier, having the best possible product, have the cutting edge solutions. Nobody knew about it. We talk about, we're manufacturing bioidentical injectable research peptides and methylated anabolics. We're going, no clue what that is. Nobody's Googling, nobody's searching for it. We had no idea on how to get it out there. We were doing radio ads and billboard ads and all these crazy things that generated zero traffic, spending a ton of money on newspaper ads and, had kids walking around handing out flyers and everybody's going, I don't understand what any of these words mean in the article, so let's go ahead and toss this. They didn't realize what they were looking for. But I think that's a cool thing that you're helping people like that who are experts in, really the expert generating the best product. Dave, for example, creating the best product, the best solution, and now you're helping them get out there and really reach the massive audiences.
Yeah.
You're not somebody that talks down about your competitors, but what's your competitive edge helping a client that's trying to get their name out there?
Yeah, there are a lot of very talented marketers out there, a lot of very, very good marketing agencies out there that are doing amazing work. What really attracts clients to us and companies to working with us is our experience as founders. So we know business, e-commerce, and local business beyond the marketing. We know what it means to be scrappy with your money. We've actually been in debt. My husband and I, we started and failed at so many businesses. Our last business that we started, aside from the agency, made $1.2 million in revenue in the first year. But a lot of that money, the profits went to paying debt back because we tried so many things before we got there. We know what it means to, like I said, to bootstrap. We know what it means to have issues with hiring, retaining, customer service, people sending, the products back, having to deal with returns. We know what it means to be shut down with your Facebook ads. We know what it means for Shopify to not want to work with you and say Shopify say, I don't want to give you Shopify payments because your product is, like peptides. You would not be approved by Shopify, not 10 years ago, Facebook ads even. And so we understand what you're thinking as a business owner way, way, way beyond marketing. Marketing is a small part of it. And, I can do it all. I can clone myself. So that's what I do. But when we're sitting down, we're talking to a business owner, we're speaking the same language because we felt it too. I have felt what it means to spend tens of thousands of dollars on a project only for it to fail. I have felt what it means to be afraid that you can't pay your team, and payday is coming up, and you have to like call your clients and be like, pay up. And like, you're thinking, I'm thinking like Brian from and Stewie from Family Guy was like, where's my money, Brian? Where's my money? I couldn't do that with my clients, but I definitely couldn't sleep at night either because payday was coming up. So in terms of the competitive edge, that's it. We are founders ourselves, and we've lived it before we started to deliver it too.
I know you work with a ton of different people. You love just working with good people who are doing good stuff and helping others. But can you explain your perfect target client? I mean, not only industry, but I mean down as specific as age, gender, marital status, income level, company size. I mean, do you have them narrowed down to where you've got a exact perfect client you can work with?
It's funny. I've always had a really good success with the older, more seasoned, old school business people, because they take no BS. You know what I mean? They don't care about TikTok. They don't care about like what hashtags I'm using in their TikTok accounts. They just want to like make money, and that's it. But more than that, my perfect business, my perfect partner, my perfect client is, first of all, one that wants to spend time on things that move the needle. They don't trip over dollars to pick up pennies. If I have one more conversation about what emoji I'm using in a social media post, I think I'm just gonna start crying. So the client that I work with that is successful is a client that says, yep, let's do it. I don't like this, but we can, pass it for now. But next time, please change it. Or I'm not feeling so good about this. What do you think? You're still the expert. That is number one. Number two is someone that understands they have to spend money. I cannot be your savior. I cannot be your Hail Mary. I'm here to help you. I'm a partner. I'm here to execute. But if there's a lot of things broken in your company, I cannot, like do this with my wand and like make it all happen. So that would be number two. And number three, it would be a founder that makes quick decisions. So if we are having a conversation about an email campaign for 3 days, like I could have sent 3 email campaigns in those 3 days. I would rather just have you on the phone, make quick decisions. We're not friends. You're not going to offend me. You have to give me candid feedback and I'll bring the candor back. But we're here to work on a project, and we're not here to just like go on. There's no measuring stick involved, okay? There's no need for that. We just have to think about a project and move it forward. So those would be my 3 things that I'm looking for. In terms of like background, age, gender, as you work with people from the United States the best, I feel like I live in Canada right now. I am Eastern European. Eastern Europeans are, they're famous for like not smiling a lot. We don't like frown lines. We're very forward and we're very candid. And I feel like Americans have that a lot more than Canadians do. However, I do have several Canadian companies that I work with as well. And yeah, just don't be too in love with your product, because when you start a business, it's not about you. It's about the problem that you solve for a specific group of people. Remove yourself from that.
I need you to give my pitch when I'm speaking. If you could just say your whole thing, that would be exactly like we were on the same page. I know we're kind of in the same niche here as far as branding, but you're somebody I could absolutely go, heck yeah, take my place and speak. You're absolutely somebody I would recommend for any type of business to get in touch with, if they're looking for branding help, marketing help. Now, we were talking about this a little bit earlier as far as working with people who are loving to help people who are just getting started, who've got a great idea, but being so difficult to get them to move the needle or going, hey, here is your problem. Here's the solution. Fix this. Your business will take off. And having a really hard time to get new founders to actually follow the advice. And they fart around, and 6 months down the road, they're not making any progress and they're blaming it on you. And it's hard to get them to pay. And I think that's something we've probably both seen with older and more established business owners. They've gone, I have tried this enough on my own. When I get a hold of experts that know what they're doing, it just works. It's worth the money to pay you, step out of it, let you do what you're best at, and me focus on the business that I'm best at. Is there a certain range as far as what they're making right now, or company size or something that's easier to work with?
I don't work with startups as much. The only startups I work with right now are the startups that are either funded. They're not the first time they're founding something. So the owner has had another startup before, or their co-founder has had another company before, or they're part of a franchise where they have some strict guidelines that we need to follow, and I get the support. The companies that usually could use me the best would be the ones that are making, I would say, ideally at least $2 million a year. Maybe someone that makes $1 million a year, but they're seeing like high growth. So usually the sweet spot for our services are the companies that are making between $2 and $5 million a year, and they're trying to grow to like 10, 20, 30. Although I do have companies right now that, they made $4.6 million in the first, not even 6 months. I have a company right now, we just recently started working with them, whose goal is 5 mil in the first year and then 35 mil in the first 5 years. They are funded, however. And I've worked with companies as, big as 20 something million dollars a year. But the sweet spot, I would say, companies that are plateauing their growth, especially when it comes to digital marketing, they're probably at $2 to $3 million. And they're like, okay, like, what do we do next? Like we don't have a proper email marketing system in place. We don't have, we're not collecting text. Why are we not collecting text? We're not on TikTok. We're not on Pinterest. We're not doing this. We're not doing SEO. So that's where I can mine more gold without pushing more money through their expense reports, basically.
So if you're listening to this right now and you're in that situation, and maybe you're watching this on Amazon Fire TV, pause the show, scroll down. There'll be a clickable call to action at the bottom. You'll see if we end up working together, there'll be a picture of your magazine cover. So you'll see Sandra on the cover of Newswire magazine. Click that, read the article, get in touch. At the bottom, we'll have a call to action where you can get on and schedule I assume a free discovery call, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And it comes to the strategy.
So pause that right now, scroll down, contact with Sandra and her husband. Also, are you guys are you available to do consulting? It sounds like you do not only the branding, but you do consulting as well, right?
Yes. So in my ideal perfect world, I always say I either want to deliver one service, which will be email marketing, because then I can just kind of hang back in my track pants and just write, which I love to do, or consulting strategy. But what I found is the companies that I work with, they're always like, but don't you have some people? Don't you have some people that we can use? So I do actually a lot of consulting. I act as fractional CMO on several companies. But I also find that a lot of companies that I work with, they also need a team to execute. So I have built and trained my own team to execute, but we do consulting. So if you have your own team and you just need a marketing strategist or a lead marketer, head of marketing, I absolutely do that as well.
That's awesome. We will be just going to a quick commercial break here. Hang out, check this out, and we'll be right back.
This interview is sponsored by Newswire magazine. We celebrate the entrepreneurs and thought leaders shaping the future. Those who don't just adapt, but innovate. Who inspire others to think bigger, lead boldly, and create lasting change. Only a select few are featured in Newswire magazine. And for those who earn a place on the cover, the opportunities are unmatched. Your story shared with a global audience. Your achievements celebrated on national billboards, reaching millions. Every leader has a story. Every vision deserves a platform. Who will rise to the top? Stay tuned. You're witnessing greatness unfold.
Hey, welcome back to Success, Motivation, and Inspiration. You're here with me and Sandra on the show. Again, if you're watching this, I think this is going to be a great thing. Get in touch with Sandra, pause the show, scroll down, click, get in contact with her, schedule a free discovery call. Get in contact with SnapAdvantage. This is going to be a huge thing that will help your business out. She's not trying to sell them anything, not hard selling, not promoting. She's just helping people solve problems. So I think this would be a good thing for you to get in contact with them. You had something pretty interesting about you, that you guys were living kind of as digital nomads, right? You talked about living in a whole bunch of Airbnbs and just kind of living your best life right now.
Try to.
What put you in that situation? I mean, how did you decide to start traveling and experiencing doing the digital nomad thing?
I decided to start an agency because I wanted to travel. And I didn't know this life was possible. Actually, so I'm an immigrant and my family moved here from Romania in 2005. And, we came here to live the American dream. Basically, like end up having a house. Like in Romania, there was like no such thing as mortgages back then. Like you either inherited something or not. There was a lot of corruption. The country has changed in the meantime. It's fabulous, fabulous place to go to. But I followed the playbook. I came here and I said, okay, I'm going to be a good girl. I'm going to go to university, graduate with honors. I worked throughout university. And then I said, you know what? I want to work for the government. So I majored in business and French. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to do human resources and whatnot. So I did it for a while. I worked for a government organization. Then I worked in sales. And then I met my now husband, Serge, about 9 years ago. Yeah. And then I had no idea what he does. All I knew was he sells praying beads online. I'm like, I have no idea. Like, why are people buying praying beads? Don't you go to a monastery to buy those? Anyway, so he takes me to a mastermind in Bali. And this is like a 5-star resort. And all these people are marketers and they're making money online. And none of them had a background in marketing. Like, I met a guy who was tossing pizza before he started becoming a marketer. And I was mesmerized by these people's like dream of like working online. I was like, this is not possible. Come on, I'm driving in traffic an hour just to get to the Toronto area. And I remember the last day in Bali, we were flying that night and we were at a beach club and we're drinking this like major jug of sangria and like mixing it with a cinnamon stick. And we were making on Shopify more money than we were spending. We couldn't keep up with spending the money that Serge was making. And I was like, Serge, on the flight back, I said, I'm going to quit my job tomorrow. And whatever you need of me, I will do. Can you hire me? He said, absolutely. And yeah, I just realized that I can travel. Like traveling doesn't have to be working for the government so you can get more vacation. Because in Canada, the government workers get like 4 or 5 weeks vacation versus like in your private company, it's like 2 or 3. And that's what I thought, that I needed to work for the government in order to get more vacation. And I realized I can work from anywhere in the world and quit my job, started working with Serge. So since then, we have sold everything we had twice. Like we went to Bali and Thailand, came back, we're broke. We had to rebuild businesses. In 2020, we sold everything we had, January, and we went to Thailand. And after 2 months, because COVID happened, we had to come back. So my parents were like seeing houses for us. We had to rent a house online. This was like 2020. You did not rent a house online. That was like a new thing back then. So then we did that. And then 2021, we were like, okay, nothing is changing. Let's just leave. So we bought a one-way ticket. We started with Bahamas and then we went to Croatia, which is my favorite place on earth. That's honestly, Croatia is the best country ever. And since then, we spent 3 years in over 50 Airbnbs, literally living out of suitcases, just one suitcase and one carry-on each. And we've worked from all over the place. Eastern Europe, so a lot of like Croatia, Bosnia, Romania, Serbia, also Italy, Portugal. We went to Thailand, Bali. We're pretty much all over the place. Long story there.
That's absolutely incredible. I love that story, and I love that you guys have got the both of you had the courage, and especially your husband was already chasing his dream, and brought you in where you could realize, hey, I don't have to work for the man telling me when I get when I'm allowed to have my time off.
Exactly.
And if I figure out how to solve a problem for people, I mean, this is what I'm hearing from the story. Yeah. If you figure out how to solve a problem for somebody and charge a reasonable price for that solution, you live your own life and you set your own destiny, right?
Absolutely. And you know what? At the beginning, I was so afraid to tell new clients that I was in Europe because I was thinking like they need someone from North America. They're not going to trust me, blah, blah, blah. But then I realized, back to what kind of businesses you want to work with, where it's businesses that don't care about these type of things. They just care about growing, making money, and someone solving problems for them. I realized that the people that make comments, I've had clients that said, we don't go to the Bahamas like you do. So then I had to make a comment saying, I couldn't afford a place in Toronto. So I went to the Bahamas because Toronto real estate right now is like crazy. But I was actually afraid to tell people that I was across the world because I was thinking like they're not going to think I'm serious about this. But you know what? I was there working from 3 p.m. because it's 6 hours ahead until midnight, and I was showing up and I was taking calls and we made it work. And the internet in Europe is good. And interesting thing was, we didn't spend that much money because life is a little bit cheaper in Eastern Europe. So we had more freedom to choose the right clients, to charge a little bit less, to be more flexible. So things worked out and I missed it. I am looking outside right now. There's about 4 feet of snow, probably more in my parents' driveway where I am right now. We had to shovel so many times in the last week alone because we had 3 snowstorms. So definitely missed the Croatian coast side.
Now, one of the things I really like about this too is somebody listening to this, if they're going, maybe they're a coach or consultant, or they're not in the health and fitness industry, maybe they make the best protein cookies you can imagine, and they're an unknown, literally the best cookie you could possibly imagine, but nobody knows about them. That's something where they're going, I wish I could live that kind of a life. I wish I could be traveling and chase my dreams, and I'm stuck in here making these cookies, barely able to pay rent. The cool thing I'm hearing here is somebody doesn't have to become a digital marketer to be able to live that life. If they're the best at whatever they're doing, get in touch with a company like yours, like SnapAdvantage, and hire you guys so that you can take care of the work that they don't have the time or desire to learn to become an expert at. Let them do what they're great at. You do the marketing, you bring them clients, you're monetizing what they're already good at. Maybe they can hire additional staff and grow that company. And you're basically, the better you do, the more people you're helping to achieve their dreams as well, right?
Absolutely. There's the mindset of waiting for someone to give you permission to live your life the way you want to live is, in my opinion, so wrong. And it's wrong because it doesn't serve people right. Like, people have this idea that maybe one day I'm going to get a remote job, or maybe one day, an opportunity will come my way. But at the end of the day, people don't care. People don't care where you're working from. People don't care where you go. People don't care how much you go on vacation. People care what you can do for them. So whether you are a B2C or B2B or coach or company, as long as you solve a problem for a group of people and you become useful, people don't care about the other details.
I know you're on short time here you got multiple interviews scheduled and stuff. Kind of running out of time here for you, but do you have some final thoughts or final advice for somebody that's going, hey, I would love to get in contact with her. I don't know if my business qualifies, or maybe I'm not somebody she'd be willing to work with. Is there any kind of a final thought or advice you'd give somebody on?
If someone wants to get in touch with me, I'm more than happy to have a conversation. I will never take on a business as a partner that I know I can't serve. I will not take on a business that, dreads my invoices. So I don't want to be that stress to someone's life. But if someone wants to get in touch with me, I'm more than happy. I would rather do something for free, like a session or two, just to kind of like guide you towards the right direction, than try to milk you for what you have. So if someone is interested in, getting a strategy, a roadmap, as long as you show up with a notebook to take notes. Actually, I had one person in a free strategy once that was just kind of like sitting like this, and I'm like, you're not gonna make it. And unfortunately, she didn't. I'm here to listen. I'm here to help. Chances are that what you're going through, I've gone through, and other peers of mine have gone through. So at least I can point you to the right direction. Other than that, just keep doing what you're doing. There's no one key to success. I don't think there's one key to achieving it all. It's a combination of experience and your gut and your expertise, and try it. Just keep trying, and then you'll get somewhere.
You got to be one of the coolest guests that I've talked to. I would love to meet your husband.
Thank you.
Maybe fly me and my fiance out and just have us hang out, have dinner or something. You guys seem like
I would love that. And he's
cool
honestly the most amazing person ever. So he's everyone's favorite. Where are you guys located?
We're in Colorado in the United States. Okay.
We travel everywhere. We have clients in California and in Washington. So we're actually thinking of taking a road trip to see some of our clients. So we like to travel. But yeah, we would love to stay in touch and get in touch. Again, we're digital nomads. We're everywhere. But yeah, my husband's really cool. He actually biked all across Canada on a bicycle twice, and then he's biked the United States from one coast to another coast. So he's you might see him on a bike or in a car. Who knows?
That's awesome. We're going to be hosting an event in Kiva Island in Florida.
Okay.
Super cool. There's you go out and you can go paddle with the kayak with the alligators and
Oh,
feed you
wow.
gator tail tacos, and just a really cool thing we got coming up here. But I'll put you in contact with my co-host on that. Actually,
Yeah.
maybe have you come out and speak, and
Oh,
just
I
a
would
really
love
cool
that.
event. That
We come to Florida quite
Like-
often, actually.
oh, very cool.
Yeah, my parents
Yeah,
have a
we'll
place
definitely
there.
have to.
And my parents have a place in Naples, so we like Florida, and we have a little place in Bahamas, so we always like kind of like fly to Florida and then fly to the Bahamas.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I
Well,
would
cool.
love that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me on your show.
You've been listening to an interview with Sandra Kokotovic. I have just had an absolutely great time with this interview. Thanks again, Sandra, for being on the show. This is awesome.
Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Thanks for watching Success, Motivation, and Inspiration. This episode was designed to help you level up. See you next time.